Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another installment of Lyles Figure Files. Crazy week in the WWE. Way too many talented people got laid off, fired, wish well on their future endeavors. Clearly, this is super lame. There's too many good people that they let go of. Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Ty Valkyrie, B-Fab, etc. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've actually had to stop watching NXT after it switched over to 2.0 because I don't believe that they're going to keep going in the way that I liked NXT, and they're already releasing some of the 2.0 members. So I'm like, yep, that was the right call. I'm out of here. I do still plan to get a few more of these modern guys, basically updates on the guys that I liked from back in the day, like Roman Reigns, the Usos, whatever they do with the New Day, Bianca Belair. But that's about it. And it's going to make a massive shift in my WWE collecting because I'm not going to go nearly as hard with the modern guys as I had been. It's just like a few like newer ones who I like from ROH and NXT, like Damian Priest. If they ever make a Donovan Dijakovic figure, not Mace, I think that's what he's called nowadays. But anyway, I am sticking off to guys that I like, and I think that's going to skew pretty hard now to the legends. And there's the bonus of not really have to worry about them getting laid off. Ric Flair, cough, cough. But for the most part, we know who's locked in. And I think Mattel is going to appreciate that because they've had so many lineups, so many waves change because WWE is like, nah, we don't want these guys around anymore. And that sucks for them. That sucks for us who are excited. Like, great, we're going to finally get a camo Adam Cole, baby, in our elite line to match with the rest of the Undisputed Era for that TakeOver War Games. And we're seeing more and more that Mattel is getting screwed over by WWE. And I think Mattel is going to have to adjust, do a little bit more with the legends because they're more consistent setup than the current roster outside of the guys like AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio that they've done so many times already. And people are like, enough. When are we going to get new people? Well, they can't get new people because guys like Jake Atlas, Frankie Monet, B-Fab get fired before they even get well into the production cycle. And so we got Scarlett from Elite 92 that they just showed at Ringside Fest with those really cool spikes, the crown that's in jeopardy. And she's another member of that Elite 92 wave that's looking like she's not actually going to get out to us. That's with Adam Cole. That's with the Fiend, the Burn Fiend. So it may just be Charlotte and Rey Mysterio in Elite 92. And they'll just pack it up and be like, forget it. We're going to move on to Elite 93. Oh, wait, we have Karrion Kross in his new skirt and double jointed elbows. I don't know what Mattel is going to do, but this past week we got the Q&A from Bill Miekina and Steve Ozer talking to Ringside Collectibles Tom. And there were a lot of interesting news items that come from that. Some insight into how Mattel's planning to go forward with the line. Some really encouraging news. And I want to break some of those down, the ones that I was most excited about. So first off, and here's another person that got laid off, Nia Jax. So she's gone as well. But one thing that they said that is going to be a greater focus going into 2022 is more alternate portraits. So you see we've got Nia with the braided hair, the curly frizzy hair, and then the straight hair. I love that. I didn't get this figure, even though I probably should have because it was so well done. Not because I'm a huge Nia Jax fan, but man, the figure design looks great. The paint and the head sculpts. I really like that option of being able to switch out a portrait of a figure. And so many times we've seen, like with the Ultimate Edition figures, let's pull up my rock here. You can get different head sculpts, which is great. You got a smiley rock, and that's something he definitely did. Stern focus rock. And then the I am really focused and I'm about to bring the smackdown on you. I love that option. That's one of the selling points to the Ultimate Edition line. So it's interesting seeing Mattel try to increase that value from the elite figures to go, hey, we're going to throw in some extra heads. So when you see their price point jump up to $21.99 as opposed to $19.99, it's like, okay, they're adding in more heads. They're increasing the articulation. I'm seeing where the price hike is. I mean, it's as much justified, but at least they're taking steps to go, okay, we're going to improve the figure if we're going to raise the price. So for me, I'm okay with the price hike with Mattel's WWE line because I'm seeing the fruit of this. Now, granted, you could say, hey, but Nia Jax already had two heads and she was $19.99. But you know, everything's gone up and they're not shortcutting. They're not taking stuff out, which I appreciate. So Nia's one example. My favorite of these alternate head portraits is definitely the Elite 78 Superstar Billy Graham, because we got his mid to late 80s look with the two-tone beard goatee, and which he influenced Hollywood Hogan on way down the road in the 90s. And we got his classic 70s look. And I love when Mattel can go, all right, let's shift up. How can we incorporate two different eras of one guy and one figure? Absolute best approach for me, because there's so many of these guys who didn't really change much in terms of their ring attire, but how they looked was definitely changed. And another guy that I would love to see this approach done with as well is Lex Luger. Now, we've gotten the WWF narcissist, we've got the American hero Lex Luger, but I want to see an NWA Four Horsemen member Lex Luger. And this is easy, and this way we can incorporate and we can really capture a lot of eras of Lex Luger with this. Get him with the black tights, longer hair sculpt, younger face, because that's important for Lex in this case, and maybe that US title, the shiny robe, maybe not, because I'm going to throw in a few other things. And then we get an alternate head sculpt with a ponytail, Wolfpack shirt, long pants. In this way, we can do the Wolfpack and Four Horsemen era Lex all in one figure. And we really only need a ponytail sculpt, cloth, shirt, pants, like we've seen with Sid Justice. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, and definitely something I would love to see, so I can complete another version of the Four Horsemen. So we've got the 90 version with Flair, Anderson, Wyndham, and Sid Vicious from 1990. I'd love to get this 1987 group done, and of course the 1988 version. So that means I need another Barry Windham, you know, like how he normally was, with the long hair, black glove, preferably one of those four, because Barry's pretty much the only option now in terms of Four Horsemen that we can get from that team, because Blanchard and Anderson are in AEW. Flair's in the corner. He's on punishment. He's not going to get any figures anytime soon, but we can complete two lineups of the Four Horsemen, two more at least, the 87, the 88. We've got JJ Dillon, so we've got just about everything. So we just need a Horseman era Lex and an actual 88 version of Barry Windham. So come on, Mattel, make it happen. So another big question definitely coincides with something I've been curious about, the Ultimate Edition line. So we've gotten a pretty consistent flow of every 3 months, a new set of two figures. So the question was, will we get this expanded to include maybe 4? So we don't have to wait so long and don't have in the Ultimate Edition 10 set case a bunch of repaints. Now the Rock is a little bit different, but Cena definitely is. We've got the Attitude Era Rock, and now we got the PG Fighting John Cena version of the People's Champ. And that's cool. That's a nice distinction. But with so many limited slots, how are we going to get enough figures, and how are we going to catch up if we don't get these guys any faster than 2? So Steve and Bill said that while we're not going to see an expansion to 4 a wave, we're probably going to start seeing more of them pop out. So it may be like every 2 months as opposed to every 4 months, which is great because that way we can just keep them coming through the pipeline. They've expanded the different avenues. So we've got the Mattel Creations coming with the Macho Man, Diesel, and Doink. And we've also got the Amazon Fan Takeover. And there's a possibility of a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Now that could be dicey just because of who they choose. And you know that special surplus charge of their exclusives, which is fine because, you know, it's a limited edition. So I get that. But something else that was kind of cool, was kind of interesting. Steve mentioned that they have been considering 2-packs, and one was really close to getting done, but they had to hold off right now. I can't imagine why this would be held off, but I think maybe it was a Mega Powers, and maybe it was just this case of we needed to get the setup. We needed a little buffer between the Amazon version and the Mega Powers version. Hopefully this Mega Powers one comes with a cape for Macho Man. We've only seen the Neon Cowboy version so far in the Ultimate Edition setup. And we've got to get that massive cape robe for Macho Man. And with the Ultimate Edition setup, I'm really thinking they're going to go all out. So I can't wait to see what they do. A Mega Power one would be really nice to see. It matches our Elizabeth from Elite 77. And we can do this iconic thing from SummerSlam and also Survivor Series. So yet another reason to get these guys in Ultimate Edition set up. But since they put this bug in my ear, I'm kind of like, well, who else could we get in 2-pack format that would stand a pretty reasonable chance of selling and not collecting dust at a price point of close to $65? So, of course, I had to put probably my all-time favorite tag team, the Hart Foundation, as the number one choice. I think with the Ultimate Edition setup, we get their jackets, and maybe we do it like we did the Bret Hitman Hart version, where the jacket's all separate parts, and it has those little cool shoulder pauldrons there with pink, and the little beanie for the anvil, and of course different head sculpts with the Hitman. And maybe that could work out, and of course the tag titles. So I think that would be something I would love to see in this 2-pack setup. I still want to get more anvils. Maybe this way we get a Bret Hitman Hart without a painted torso too. That would be awesome. And another choice would definitely be the Road Warriors, maybe with the NWA Tag Team titles. It's been forever since the Legend Series 1, where we had the Road Warriors. We've gotten different iterations of the Legion of Doom over time, both in basics and elite. But, you know, kind of looking back at it now, the Road Warriors really need updates just in general in terms of the sculpt. Animal was a little lean, a little too muscular, but that was way back in the day when they had a more limited part choice, and that was the best option for Animal. And Hawk was pretty good, but my figures are a little bit flimsy now. They kind of flop around a bit, and I would love to just get them in Ultimate Edition format. I don't even know if these guys are still signed to Mattel, but they would probably be the easiest sell through of a tag team in an Ultimate Edition format. So I'm really hoping they can, you know, get those guys cranked out, get those shoulder pads in epic Ultimate Edition glory. And they would benefit so much because not only could we get different expressions for them, but we get different face paint. So we could have like this butterfly version on Animal. We can get the spider. Hawk, we just have different colors of the stripe. I mean, there's so many cool options, and they would really benefit from the Ultimate Edition presentation. So hopefully we get those guys really, really soon. And speaking of Ultimate Edition, Steve and Bill also said that, yeah, we want to keep expanding. We're going to do more contemporary wrestlers. They mentioned Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get them in wave 13 or 14, but it does mean that they have kind of realized it's been a while since we've done the modern superstars. I guess the Fiend was the last one, but it had been a little bit of time since Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, the exclusive to Ringside Charlotte Flair. So we probably need to revisit that. They were going to do a Fiend version of Alexa Bliss. I don't know if that's still on the table. We didn't see any more on that. There's no news that it was canceled, so I guess I'm just assuming for no reason. But that is one current superstar that is planned for that format. But we are supposed to get some more. So I'm really loving the idea of getting more of those guys. And getting guys like Doink, who didn't headline WrestleMania, weren't in the co-main event, but were really pivotal to their respective time periods for, in the WWF, in the WCW, etc. So that's really cool. I'm still really salty we didn't get a Sting in this format, because gosh, look at this cloth robe on, or cloth jacket on Doink, and you just know how great a Sting version, Surfer Sting, would have been. They could have gone with like something that works for multiple, outfits. Maybe the black tights with the colorful scorpion and stinger on the side, and then just different face paints for the head sculpts. I really wish I could have gotten Sting, but it's whatever. All right, so we got that. We're going to see some more contemporary figures and more lower tier guys, which is cool for Ultimate Edition. And the Ultimate Edition New Generation ring was the first Mattel crowdfunded project, but we are going to see more. One of the main things that Bill and Steve were really driving home to us was, if you support this, we've got enough evidence to tell the higher ups that this is a market for us and we can get more of these. And so the question, of course, was, when are we going to see the next one? I'm kind of like, I want to see more of the New Generation ring. I want to actually have the ring in hand before I'm excited too much about the next one. I want to open up that Ultimate Edition Diesel, Randy Savage from WrestleMania 10, and Doink. And then I'm like, yeah, what else you guys got? So, and they did a really nice job with the unlockables, by the way. It was just like, whoa, so much stuff. What a great value. And I'm really glad I funded it and backed it, and we'll have it coming at some point next year. I guess maybe spring or summer, but I'm really looking forward to it. Steve said that we would see or hear about it at one of the big WWE anchor events around that time. Royal Rumble, that's not going to happen because it's too late in the calendar, too early in the calendar year. Ditto for Survivor Series, it's too late. That's right in around the holiday time, so they wouldn't do it then. That leaves the two obvious choices as WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Now, WrestleMania clearly seems like that would be where Mattel will want to go the biggest, the hardest, with all their special events, and something like this crowdfunded project would really benefit from the attention that WrestleMania weekend would provide. The only thing is, typically these crowdfunded projects come around the same time of year, right around San Diego Comic-Con. I would love for them to put this out at WrestleMania time, because that way they can cut the line, get first priority from everybody who's interested in crowdfunding projects. So if they're first, that means everybody with a little disposable income or is just really interested doesn't have to choose, oh, do I want the Sky Striker? Do I want the Rancor? Do I want the Proton Pack? Nope. This is just it. This is the only thing between now and, WrestleMania is typically March and April. So that's a lot of time to fund the project, pay it off, and then be ready for the onslaught of stuff that's going to come later on in the year. So I really love that approach. So hopefully it is WrestleMania time when we get this crowdfunding project mentioned or revealed. So one thing that they also mentioned was revisiting figures they've done in the past. And Bill specifically mentioned this defining moments Macho Man from WrestleMania 7, his retirement match against Ultimate Warrior. This is Bill's favorite figure because this is one he actually collaborated with Macho Man before he died. So that's cool. Now, clearly, if they were to revive this figure or take another look at it, they could add the shirt, which would be nice. Maybe a better expression. Maybe for Macho Man figures, they just create a head sculpt with the hat, attached, so it's not oversized, it's perfectly scaled, and then we just have random wrestling versions to go along with that. Maybe that's a better approach going forward with these Macho Man Neon Cowboy figures. Something to consider. I wouldn't mind getting this one. I have the original, and it's definitely a standout figure, and I love having the defining moments Ultimate Warrior facing off with him. But there's definitely room for improvement with this guy. They could do some better work on the head sculpt with the true effects. Like I said, finish the shirt. And I think there's a little bit of missing decorative elements on this outfit, this attire in general. And I don't know if the fringes were just white. Anyhow, there's room for improvement there. And I would probably buy it again and wouldn't feel salty about it. And another one that I would definitely be interested in buying is the Ringside Collectibles version of Bret Hart from 1993's Royal Rumble, where he took on Razor Ramon, somebody else who could probably use an Ultimate Edition format. But yeah, this figure is pretty decent. I think this is one of the few that don't have the painted torso. But a lot of people didn't get this all pink version of Bret because it was a Ringside exclusive. So it would be really nice to revisit this one. Hopefully they will have cracked the code for doing these leg sleeves without making them look so gaudy and just clunky and really hard to maneuver and pose your figure because they're so tight and restricted with the plastic. But that's definitely something I would love to see them do and fix. Give Bret double jointed elbows so he can do a better sharpshooter. Macho Man can hit a better elbow drop. That would be cool to see. So I would definitely welcome that. Even if I have to double dip. Mattel hasn't been like ridiculous like Hasbro with the Marvel Legends line, where it's like, ha, now we've got Spider-Man with web shooting hands. So now you gotta want this. Or here's a Captain America with an unholy shield. So yeah, I wouldn't mind this because Mattel hasn't kind of abused that trust, let's say, and haven't taken for granted that collectors will just buy a better version of a figure. They also mentioned titles, and we saw at the Ringside Fest the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat figure from 1993 with the WCW television title. And titles are definitely something that they are focusing on, they said. Bill and Steve mentioned there are a few more on the horizon that they're looking at, and they're always trying to get titles that we haven't seen before. It's just a matter of figuring out which guy to match up with the belt that would make the most sense. If I would be so bold as to offer a suggestion, Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare, with the NWA mid-80s US title. Nikita is a pivotal figure, of course, because he was one half of the Superpowers. He is literally the last figure that we don't have to complete War Games. And War Games was such a major event for the NWA. We have everyone. We have Paul Ellering. We have J.J. Dillon. We have the two managers who are in this. There's one wrestler that doesn't have a figure. And I cobbled together a little Lex Luger custom just because I could put a Lex head on a figure with black tights. But I don't have a Nikita Koloff, and I need this guy, and he would be a great option for a chase. So we can get him with this black CCP. We can get him in red, more from his time when he was a heel with Uncle Ivan and Crusher Khrushchev, fighting Magnum TA, who we have in the Legends format. I mean, it's just like, come on, guys. Nikita. Give him with the U.S. title or give him with the NWA TV title from that era. The silver and red, such a great color scheme for a title. Really stood out. And I love to see Nikita in the line because, I mean, he's another one from my all-time favorite WCW NWA match, War Games 92, Sting Squadron versus the Dangerous Alliance. Getting a little closer to getting that lineup filled in. I know I'm always going to have that black hole with Dustin Rhodes not being part of it, but maybe Jazzwares will do a classic version, Dustin, the natural, so I can just throw him in there too. But anyway, Nikita for sure. Let's get him and the US or TV title. Not that picky. We are also going to get more deep cuts of figures like the Goon. We're going to see at least 2 new first time in the line guys. So Nikita could be one. But the Goon is he's just a wacky figure. He didn't win against any top tier talent, but it's nice to get a guy like him who can just take a elbow drop, a sharpshooter, snake eyes, super kick, whatever. So there are lots of guys. I mean, there's still lots of guys. I would love to see Mattel finish off some of these tag teams. There's some that are just hanging in limbo. We've got one half of the team, and in some cases, literally with their tag team attire. So we've got a Davey Boy Smith, we've got the Warlord, we've got Andre the Giant. And if we got Dynamite Kid, the Barbarian, and Haku, we could finish off 3 classic tag teams. If I had to pick for somebody the first time in the line that we've never seen before, I'd love to see Rick Steiner. I'd love to see Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts finish off the Freebirds. So, I mean, there's a few figures that Mattel has kind of started that are kind of inching their way on my top 10 list just because we've got the other people. Their tag team partners, their faction stablemates. Let's put them all together and knock them out. So, yeah, but it's nice to see we're going to get some more definite legends first time in the line. So another question was about these Hulk Hogan figures. Every Hogan figure has a tearaway, rip away shirt. Bill explained that, with so much emphasis and so many people on Instagram taking photos, they wanted to make sure to have that iconic thing of Hogan ripping his shirt. I get that, but Steve mentioned something that I thought was really interesting and really encouraging, that maybe they could include one ripped with the Velcro so you could do the iconic ripping of the shirt, but also include a cloth shirt that is unaltered, that's just like everybody else, that you could just put on. So if you wanted to have a clean shirt to have on the display, you could do that. And you could also, if you wanted, just swap it out with the shirt that you could do the rip. And I love that idea. That's something that kind of is like, yeah, do that. I don't care so much about the ripped shirts. I mean, that's definitely something Hogan did all the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. But having a regular one, that's a really good idea as well. So one more question was, would you ever consider doing figures based off of looks from other companies, like Toy Biz with their WCW line, or just old looks from Jakks? And, we all got burned big time early on in the Legends line because Mattel specifically said we didn't want to do Jimmy Superfly Snuka with his iconic shorts and his bare feet because Jakks did that. And then everything came out with Jimmy Superfly Snuka, so we're not getting another one. And it's really unfortunate because that's the iconic look, and we're just never going to get that figure now. Maybe they could do a Tonga Kid or CBAPI, and we could just pop the head and, hey, we got our Superfly. That would be awesome. Free idea for you guys, Mattel. But Bill Orsi, I think it was Bill, mentioned the Smash and Slam DDP. And I know for sure Steve said that this was definitely in the look that they have on their radar for Diamond Dallas Page. Definitely agree. This is kind of his look when he was basically at the height of his popularity, when he was the one leading the charge against the NWO for WCW. He was teaming with Carl Malone, Jay Leno, and just doing his thing and having really entertaining feuds with Hogan and Savage, etc. And this shirt with the bang, definitely one of my favorites from that era of WCW. Gotta have DDP in jeans because, that was just his look. And he's another guy that would really benefit from alternate head sculpts because we get him with the frizzy hair. We get him with the kind of slick back version like this figure. By the way, these Toy Biz figures were excellent. They had amazing head sculpts for their time. Like the Scott Hall in that line, I think is still the best Scott Hall head sculpt. And that was without any true effects or any real scan or anything. It was just a dude's hard at work sculpting to get that likeness down. And this DDP one's pretty good too. I really love the way the hair hangs on the figure. And I just wish they didn't have those stupid articulation, the special action features, because he just had to do that. And I still have the ring barrier with the NWO, despite that never being a thing in WCW. But it was a cool ring piece anyway. So that's good to hear that they're looking at other ones. And I'd love to see this figure come out from Mattel. That would be a great Legends figure, because, that is WCW right there. And one of the last questions was about the WWE Hollywood line. Would it expand? Would it include guys from No Holds Barred, a ripped version of Hulk Hogan, Zeus, the human wrecking machine? We need to get this guy. He was around for a hot second, but he really did make an impact. Headlined 2 shows or 3 shows, because that's more than most people in the WWF. So he was in that SummerSlam match, then the No Holds Barred rematch in the steel cage with Macho King versus Hogan and Beefcake. He teamed up with Ted DiBiase in Survivor Series 89. So we get Zeus, we get Barbarian, we've got another team complete, which is always like a cool thing to me. Like, great, another team's knocked off. So that would be really great to see Zeus in this line, and I'm hoping that at some point that's a possibility. Jakks did a Zeus figure. Mattel, Steve was like, well, of course, we're trying to get everybody, and I really believe him. It's not just lip service, that they're trying to get everybody they have access to, or if something with the license changes, or if somebody's contract opens up. We've seen Mr. T. I think Zeus is probably the most significant celebrity. Maybe Zeus, Dennis Rodman, maybe. But I think Zeus, because, Rodman only headlined one show, which is weird because I mean Hogan's bringing in these superstars that we probably should get. I wouldn't be upset to get a Karl Malone figure in the Elite line either. But yeah, so that was a lot of what we got from Mattel. There were some cool reveals in this Q&A, and they're gonna have to keep pivoting because of so many current day stars that keep getting released before they can finish the design cycle to actually get these figures in stores. So I don't mind getting more repaints of legends, better head sculpts, double jointed elbows. Bring in all the Bret Hart figures you want. Bring in more Shawn Michaels, different versions of Mr. Perfect, British Bulldog, Razor Ramon, etc. I mean, I'm not going to complain about getting more legends. Let's keep it going. And hopefully, if you're a fan of this modern day WWE product, they will get to guys that you want before they're no longer with the company. And you'll just have to settle for getting the Jazz Warriors version when they arrive in AEW. All right, so that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank y'all out there for subscribing, commenting. As always, I'm trying to respond to everybody who drops a comment. So if I haven't, I'll get to you ASAP. Thanks so much. This episode of Lyles Figure Files has been filed.